All right. So tonight we are going to speak about the library I built for Busbud called tailwind-buddy. And before we go in, a little word about me. So I'm Florent. This is my socials. You can see I'm doing a lot of open source, and I'm lucky enough to continue doing some open source and being at Busbud at the same time. So tailwind-buddy, before we speak about it, I will speak about the context, why we have built this. So at Busbud, as Nico said, we are in more than 80 countries. We serve millions of users every day. And it was hard to find this number, but we have more than 10 million landing pages. So it's quite a lot. Yeah, I was not sure about that, but I think it's 20 millions, but I wanted to be, yeah. And we had an issue that was really old. That was I think a lot of companies have when they choose stack from the past, but now it's not working anymore. It was a big performance issue because we were using something called Material UI for people who knows. The second version. How many of you know Material UI? Okay. Do you know box in Material UI? Yes. Okay. So for a component that do simply a div, it was the worst component that make our page flow so bad. So we had to find something to resolve the problem. So, and I forgot also, we acquire a lot of company in the last years, and we do white labeling. And for white labeling, we need to have something that is super modular, and Material UI was really bad for that. So that's why we created a new design system, because the old one was based on Material UI and it was super hard to make it evolve. So we just say, okay, remove everything and build from scratch. And we had some questions, some pillars we wanted to put in place. So something that is not JavaScript for doing CSS, please. Thanks. Something that is super developer friendly, framework agnostic. I know we are doing 99% of React. I'm sad for that, but we have no choice. But we have some other projects that come and that are not in React, especially in company we acquire. They have Ruby, they have Node.js, they have Golang that serve only HTML. So we needed something that is not React only. One important point for our designers, they had quite a lot of frustrations because developers was doing what they wanted. When they integrated their design, I think you know. So we had to find a way to solve this also. So we wanted to have an API that was one-to-one with Figma. So when I say one-to-one, I think it's a good time to show you that. I'm not on the good screen. So basically, we have our button, for example. I'm going to click on it. And of course, oh yes, because it's too far from me. Yes, this one. So I don't think you see it so well, but basically when you have your button, you want to have the appearance as a prop, you want to have variant, things like that. And we wanted the developer to not think too much. I know, we like to think for useless thing. But this time we said, okay, don't think, just take what it is here, copy paste, and it will work. So that was the idea. And something that is also, where is my, okay, SSR friendly. Basically, we had also an issue that we solved, but really badly, where when you serve a page from the server, you want to have the classes or the style already there. So when the browser analyzes the page, there is no flickering on the page. So for people who don't know what is flickering, you know it's when you do some mobile first, your page starts at mobile even if you're at desktop, and you have this time where the elements take their good positions, and you have this kind of flickering between elements or even the thing that just don't show and show after. So what did we choose? We have done a lot of discussion, a lot of iterations, a lot of debate. Me, I already wanted to use Tailwind, but it was not easy to to make it used for everyone. But we decided to use tailwind CSS. Who doesn't know what is tailwind CSS? Okay, so tailwind CSS is a utility classes where you have a lot of classes to say padding top, padding bot, like it's an atomic classes. It's just this. All right. Okay, so we wanted to use a tailwind. So what we did is explore what was existing in terms of tools that could answer our questions. And what we saw is we found CVA, class variant authority. There's another project open source, and tailwind variants. That is something that NextUI is building for people who know what is tailwind NextUI. But the problem is they didn't handle the responsiveness we wanted. As I told you, we wanted to have the classes already show when we render from the server. And NextUI doesn't, tailwind variant doesn't support that. And they don't also support random props with compound variants, but I'm going to show you that later, so don't pay too much attention. And the fun fact is tailwind variant is supposedly supporting responsiveness, but it's not working. And the fun fact is NextUI is using an older version to the library. They are not even using their latest version. I was like, well, ah boy. So yeah, I had a lot of fun creating an issue for that on their website. This is a simple example of tailwind variants. The output of this will be just a string with classes, but it helps you configure your component in advance, especially when you do white labeling, when you want to have the end system, and you want to do something outside of React, because this works everywhere, where there is JavaScript, of course. I did a little proof of concept with Golang. It's working like this. So the concept of this is, oh, actually, I don't have to move. I'm trying new stuff tonight. So you have your slots. So for example, let's say you have a card. You have your card that is the root of your element. So you can say, okay, so in this part, I'm going to define default classes. I will have, well, here it's label, but let's say we have card header that we will call label. You can define specific classes, but you can also define variants for your card. So for example, here for the button, you say, I'm going to have a variant called variant. I know it's not super intuitive, but it can be primary, secondary, etc. And you can say for each slot, I want to add this. You can do as many variants as you want. You define default value for the variants. And you can say, do you want this variant to be responsive or not? If we have time, I will show you a little bit more code, but I will try to go a bit fast. And it will give you typing for your components. And there is something I didn't show here because it's quite big. It's the compound variants. So when you do the component, for example, you want to say, if the size is this, change the add the classes for that. So instead of having a tree of if, you just define compound variants with conditions, specific conditions. So let's say you want size XL, the variant primary, and you want any other props that can be cat equal dog. I know. So for those, you want to have specific classes. So it's what we call compound variants. So this is a simple example. And yes, it's time for a bigger example. I didn't put it here because it's too big. And it's this one. So this is a production button we have. It's quite big. So if you had to do this without this, I think it's triple the size of this. This is, I mean, CVA, or it's as big as a CVA or tailwind variant. In terms of API, we have almost the same. Don't be too present. Okay. So we have defined common property. We don't care. So as I told you, we have the route, the slots. I'm going to pass to not spend too much time on that. We have the appearance, that is a variant. We have a lot of variance. But especially, we have someone that likes to do one line, one something. Not me, but that's why it's too big also. And we have compound variance. That's what I wanted to show you. So this is not something we have defined on top, but it's random value we want to add to the component definition. And from if we have this and this, we are going to apply some classes. And we are going to do that. We have quite few compound variants, I think, for the button. I think the button is the most complex one we have. Maybe the card is also complex. But you see, we have a lot of conditions. So if we had to do this with if-else, have fun. So cool. I think I have nothing else to show you here. No. But I wanted to show you at the end, your component just look like this. It's not that bad. We have the button variance. We spread the object with the label that we expose from the component. And after that, it's just using it like this. So it's a function where you pass the props you want to have. After that, it will just show you a string of tailwind classes. And if you have responsive that we have in some part, the logic is a bit complex in the library. I won't speak too much about that, but it will add for you every responsive for every classes. So you don't have to think about that. And you see, we have the same for the label, and I think we have somewhere the button that is the root, and that's it. This is just our button. All the complexity is inside the function you saw before. And the cool stuff with that, and I will don't spoil you the end, but something cool happening, is we can export this everywhere. It will work outside of React, as I said. Next. And I did some performance benchmark with other libraries. One is not super updated about CVA because CVA is really good in terms of performance. But I managed to be better for the regular. Why I show you like this? Let me show you like this. Something is buggy on my screen. Okay. So the first part, it's simple case, as I show you at the first example. And we are a bit better than CVA, so it's the number you see here. Tailwind variance is really bad. I raised an issue to them, but yeah, it's their problem. It's next UI, it's a little company. We are a bit better than CVA, but actually I think we are a bit less good than them at this point. It's just at this point, I think the number was just good for us. But where we are way better, it's when we have complex compound variants, as I saw you on the button. We are really stable because I'm doing tons of shit of caching that help us being really good, but the code is not super readable. But it's working great. When you have this feeling, when you do something so complex, it's working so good, but it looks so shit. But that's my code. Sorry? When I will leave Busbud, we have a lot of good developers at Busbud. I put a comment like, don't worry, it's working. No, but it's open source, so the idea is even if I leave, someone from Busbud will still working on it, but I will also still continue to work on that. I mean, if they pay or not. We'll see.
Those tests that you show there, is it like you compile them? Is it like running code? Well, what kind of test do you want?
I can show you quick if you want. Do I have the project open? I will try to go fast because how much time I have? Okay, I don't have much time. I will show you after?
Yeah.
Because otherwise I will not make it in time. So the cool stuff when you do something like this, and I mean, the most important stuff when you are in the company is how your work is impacting the global pictures. And the numbers you can see here is when we start and almost where we are today. It's not exactly true, but so the TTIV, for people who don't know, it's time to first byte. So it's when the user receives the first byte of your server to show the page. And for this part, we we are close. Now we are more than 1 second, but we have win 1 second by migrating large area of our landing pages, as I told you. So it's, when you save 1 second in a company like Busbud, you save a lot of money also. You make win Busbud a lot of money. I did not win any from that. Just a lot of respect. The second graph is the DOM complete. So it's when the user has the full DOM complete on his device. Just so you know, we have a lot of slow device people that use Busbud today, especially in Africa, in Argentina. They have a lot of old device, so that's why you see 7 seconds. But with the changes we have done, we have 1 second and a half, a bit more today, and it's still a work in progress. We didn't migrate everything yet. So it's really cool because we can monitor and we see the decreasing of everything. And there is also another number I didn't put here. Oops. It's we have won a lot of compute time on servers. It's a number that is hard to quantify, and the chart I had was so hard to read. I was like, not a good idea to show it, but we have saved a lot of money from that. We can serve more users with the same money, basically. Almost the end. What else? So who knows React Native? Who knows the new architecture of React Native? So the new architecture of React Native, and especially with Expo, it's really cool because they have, I'm not a React fan, to be honest, but I'm a fan of React Native because they have done a super great work between web and mobile. So for people who don't know React Native, quickly, small stuff, the iOS and Android part, it's native. The UI is native. It's not hybrid like other stuff like Tori, like Ionic, like other stuff. And the web was not well supported since their new architecture, and especially with Expo. So they have done a great job. And the cool stuff with that is there is a library that is called NativeWind, where it reads your tailwind classes and transform it for the iOS, Android, and the web for you. There is small counterpart, things that don't work exactly the same, but it's mostly really good. No, this one. And I was able to show you a small application that I will make. It's public. You will be able to access it. So it's a small project in React Native where I'm doing basically what you saw before with the tailwind-buddy, and just expose the app. So it's running in the 3 devices. There is few stuff that I intentionally change because basically one big change I found is the card. So the background of the card, the shadow, is not working on mobile. So there is small stuff like this that is not exactly as the web. That's it. And it's working super well. I'm super proud of that. All right, I think we are good. Thank you. We have 1 minute for you. I got you.
Yeah, because also if you want how much like you said CSS for the time how much like is your CSS like? Because like you have like React that makes the stuff on your server, and you have your how like you know that it's your CSS that is like making the most time for your request.
No, so the time to the first byte is the first byte. So it doesn't matter if it's CSS.
It's really big. It's a big thing. There's like lots of components.
But how we knew is before we were doing a lot of JS to render the page, to render the CSS. So after we removed all of this, we win the time to first byte. It's not, I mean, you could have done it without tailwind-buddy, if it's your question, but it's a consequence to the work we have done by removing all the JavaScript that was doing CSS in JS.
Oh, because it was CSS.
Yeah, with tailwind UI and TSS. For people who want to be a bit more detailed. It's not this. Is it? where I am. Oh, because I'm not, okay, my bad. Almost. It's beautiful. So the test, it's somewhere like this, benchmark. And I have basically, it's hard to watch like this. So yes. So basically, I'm just taking almost the same configuration in every library, and I just run them.
Then you just compare the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so is it like it's not compiled yet? It's just like you run a server and then.
This is just no. There is no server here. It's just executing the function.
But like when you like build your things, this is run then like with build. So like when you try to compare the time after, like, like this code will be like SSR, right?
Yeah.
So will this need to run on the server?
Mine code?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's when you run the server. It's not on every request. Basically, they are doing the same. CVA, tailwind variance, it's the same logic. Is when you will start your server, the first time you access the component, the function that run under the string, it's already there. After that, it's just executing this function. But CVA, tailwind variance, they all do that because as your props can change, they have to dynamically give you a string. But the main logic, I mean, it's where I think I want the most in terms of performance with the complex, is the first time you run, I'm able to identify a lot of things in your configuration, and I can cache tons of shit, as I said, so you don't have to recheck that after. Did I answer your question? Okay. Joe Quadra, I know. All right, thank you again. Do you have any questions? Do you want to use tailwind-buddy?
Like
no? Okay. Yeah.
When you saw like the example before, you have like, so in theory, like we have to build that part, like get the compound component, the compose. You have to create all of those for like your own design system inside of it. Right?
Yeah. So that when you
because like design system is like a big thing. Like, when you don't really know that.
Yeah, but the thing is, today we are going to start using just this configuration on servers without React. We are going to use it in the Vue.js application. That's the cool stuff with that is, even if it's not React, it will work.
So basically you made like a mono repo and then you made it accessible to the storyboard and you have access to it.
Yeah. They all have access to the same function. That, but I mean, the storybook I won't be able to show you.
Yeah, but like how much time did you spend like doing
that? But one of the requirements, when you say migration between each, you mean between projects or
just
removing material UI?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll focus on material UI. Setting this in any project is super easy as long as you are able to use Tailwind. That's the main requirement. Otherwise, I mean, don't use that. But actually, I called it tailwind-buddy, but it's as CVA, you can do it even without tailwind because it's basically just string. The only part that is only tailwind is because I'm with the responsive. If you use responsive, you have to use tailwind. I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, or if you have another library that supports responsive as tailwind, it will work. But basically, it's the same. But I just found it fun to call it tailwind-buddy. You know. And to answer your question, we have both living at the same time. As it's just string, you can make it work with Material UI that is also generating string. But we made the process to migrate so easy with the components, etc. Developers just have to copy paste. I will come to you after. But for example, if I take, maybe it's not the best example, but okay, I don't know what to show you, but basically when you are on a template on Figma, we know on Figma, for people who don't know, you can tokenize everything. So paddings, colors, borders, everything. So every tokens like this, they are also exposed in the Tailwind config we have. So for developers, it's super easy. So when they see padding 100, they just have to type padding 100. And the color is exactly the same. We have colors, machin. They just have to do text, color, machin. It will work. It's the same for the components. It's like, I think basically it was the hardest part of the creating this. I mean, not tailwind, but doing this design system thing, because it's always hard for us developers to work with designers, and it's the same in the reverse. But I think they are happy with us today. Answer the question. Yeah.
It's kind of a basic question on Tailwind. I'm still learning it.
Mm-hmm.
But my understanding is you tell the Tailwind CLI which files to scan, and it tells what classes you're using, and it only generates the CSS for the classes that you're using.
Yeah.
How is it able to scan through what's going on with tailwind-buddy and
It's a good question.
figure out which classes are going to be generated?
Okay, so there is two things. I thought you were going to bring responsiveness, but didn't. But I will. As you said, Tailwind do a static analysis on all your code, and how you do it. I mean, there is one thing: is you tell Tailwind where to look at. Basically, it's in the Tailwind config.json. I'm looking at. Okay. Config is the, let's say, the sandbox, and you can tell him also look at which library you are using. So here the dist, it's basically looking at Tailwind, our design system or Horizon. And the other part is the responsive, because the responsive, as it's generated from JavaScript, Tailwind doesn't know about that. So we have to make him know about that. So that's why we have a special function here to just inject to Tailwind the responsive one. This is not the most optimized, but no one is doing better than that. I have already ideas to do that. Just it's too complex because you will have to work with a builder like Vite, Webpack, and they will have to check all your file. You will have to do. I don't have time. It's working great. Usually, we noticed because it was something that designer was crying a lot because they're like, oh, and the thing we don't use so much the responsive. I mean, inside components. Outside, we are using a lot, but not inside. Yes?
So you said that you are using the kind of Figma.
Hmm?
Which tool do you use to synchronize the tokens in Figma?
We are using Style Dictionary. It's a library, and you can connect this with Figma. I don't remember which plugin we are using.
By default, it doesn't generate anything.
No. No, it's a plugin we use. They define everything. It's sent to the Style Dictionary. We have a GitHub action that create a PR on our project Horizon. And if I can give you an example quick. Not this. No, it's not this. This. And it generates this for us. So basically, it's all the configuration for our Tailwind. And what you saw after, I won't dive too much in design system, but we are using semantic token. And semantic token is different based on, I can't show you too much about that. But we have a lot of white labels that have their own configurations. And we, after that, just import or not in the website or any website they need. And we have other stuff that's coming that probably will make some changes to how tailwind-buddy is working or how our design system is working, but I can't speak about that. I'm sorry. Secret. Any other questions? No? Thank you.